morning, podcast world. This is Chats with Baba, brought to you by Lighthouse for Academic and Cultural Excellence. The purpose of this podcast is to inform and empower and educate parents of young Black children. The information is good for all children, but I specifically focus on Black children simply because when it comes to areas in literacy, we are behind. Parents, you are children's first and foremost teachers. And the task here is to inform you, to enable you to release the natural genius that's in your child. Black children have untapped and underdeveloped gifts. The quality of experience and exposure lays the foundation for life. We want to move from miseducation to education. Our goal is to strive for excellence. Before I get into today's chat, this is part of the chat. It's the newsletter that I send out on a monthly basis. This is newsletter number 9. And in it, I have some words from one of the great writers during the Harlem Renaissance, Countee Cullen. And part of what I say in the newsletter, it's important as a parent that you affirm your children every day. We're living in a world that's very unsettling now for Blacks, politically. And so it's important that you affirm your children. In the newsletter, this is what Countee Cullen says. Hey, Black child, do you know who you are? Do you know that you are strong? Be what you can be, who you really are. Learn what you must learn. Do you know what you can be? Do you know what you can do? What do you want and tomorrow for your nation? If you try, will it be there when you want it? What can you do? So the words go on. The words go on. I close out the letter, the newsletter, with a statement from the late Nina Simone. In the words of Nina Simone from her hit song, "To Be Gifted, to Be Young, Gifted, and Black," that's where it's at. So those words of affirmation is something that you should be giving to the children daily. Hugs, affirming them, building up their self-confidence, self-esteem. It's critical. So today I'm going to continue with points about teaching math to young children. And it's important to remember that each child is different. Each child learns and develops at his or her own pace. Some things are learned quickly, while others need repeated practice over and over and over. And in this process of teaching young children, they must be engaged in all activities, not just watching. The words of Maria Montessori says that children must be actively involved in what they're learning. And one of the things as parents you should do is to spend time reading to them daily. The late Maria Montessori believed in hands-on. Children learn through their senses. So today I want to talk to you about some language that's critical. And remember, we're talking about the mental map that is being developed in the child's mind, the mental mapping. Now, when you think about teaching math concepts, math terminology, math language, don't let the idea of math frighten you. Because to teach young children, most of what you need is right there in the house. Objects, games, So you don't have to spend a lot, but you have to have some investment. For example, let's think about the terms big, bigger, biggest. So let's say you have 3 balls, one that's big, one that is bigger, and then one that is the biggest. You could have a tennis ball, a volleyball, and a beach ball, or a big balloon, just something that's bigger that shows the difference when children, remember, all these concepts are going into the mental map that children are developing. So big, bigger, biggest. Other concepts would be small, smaller, smallest. So you again have 3 objects and they are distinctly different. One is small, one is smaller, and one is the smallest. Okay? Remember, big, bigger, biggest. Small, smaller, smallest. Other concepts are none, more, less. Think about that. None, more, less. Now, we haven't said anything yet about numbers, but just math. All of the terms that I've shared with you are related to math. None, more, less. Small, smaller, smallest. Big, bigger, biggest. Now, those words should be repeated over and over and over and over as you are engaging the children with objects that they can see things that are different in size, difference in shape, difference in texture, difference in color. All objects that you pick up are going to reflect those 3 things: size, shape, and color. Okay? Size, shape, and color. Big, bigger, biggest. Small, smaller, smallest. None, more, less. As you are working with your children, use the terms, use the words. Keep in mind, all of what you're sharing goes into their mental map. Repetition is a part of learning. Now, what you don't want to do, let me go back to something I said earlier. Each child learns at his or her own rate. You don't want to compare one child to another because each of us learns differently. Okay? Even when children, you see some frustration, don't let that worry you. Okay? Don't let that worry you at all. You just continue being supportive of them. Let me go back. So again, you will have some objects that are different in size, difference in shape, difference in color. And as the children are playing or engaging with these things, you are constantly calling out size, shape, and color. Whether it's big, bigger, biggest, or whether it's small, smaller, smallest, whether there's none, more, or less. Math concepts, math terminology. So with those terms and those concepts, these are things that you use and share with your children on a daily basis. And you're not talking about a long period of time. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just like the nature of this podcast today. I've given you at least a dozen concepts: shape, size, color. None, more, less, small, smallest, smaller, big, bigger, biggest. All of those become a part of your child's mental map. We have not talked about counting. We've not talked about numbers. We've talked about math concepts. So stay with that as you work with your children and look at objects that you have in the house where they can manipulate and attach these labels to them: size, shape, and color. So that completes our lesson for today. And you are contributing to the mental map that your children are developing. It's not a whole lot, but yet it is still a lot. Stay with those concepts and enjoy your day. Visit Lighthouse for Academic and Cultural Excellence, drjamesyoung.com. Have a good day.